In this video, I'll be talking about 8 things that you need to know before you travel to Australia. I will be covering everything: unseen struggles, culture shocks, job market, cost of living, what to do, what not to do, and at the end, some amazing tips for which you can thank me later. Cannot afford to miss what I'm about to share. After spending 10 years in this incredible country, I've learned some hard truths that I wish I'd known before stepping foot in Australia. There are so many challenges and hard-earned lessons that I'm here to share with you. 98% of people who decide to migrate have no idea what they are truly signing up for. You learn what I wish I'd known, the things that could have saved me time, stress, and money, and the exact steps to avoid common pitfalls. This is what I will be covering: initial excitement versus unseen struggles, culture shocks and adjusting to a new life, feeling lonely and struggling to make friends, job market disappointments, cost of living and expensive education, emotional and mental challenges, and some practical tips for survival. Please do not think that I'm criticizing Australia. I feel very lucky to have had a chance to move here. But it wasn't always easy. It all started in September 2012 when out of nowhere I asked my partner to send my resume to a migration consultant. That small idea turned into the journey that brought us to Australia in 2014. There were exciting moments but also tough challenges I didn't see coming. I will share not just my story but also real stories from friends and co-workers who went through the same journey. So first on my list is initial excitement versus reality. Picture this: you step off the plane excited to start a new life in a different country. Everything feels fresh and the thought of new opportunities and adventures is thrilling. But then reality hits. One day I was at the supermarket and didn't understand what cash out meant. It seemed like a small thing, but in that moment I realized how confusing even simple tasks could be in a new country. There's also the fear of being somewhere you don't know anyone. Thoughts like, what if something happens to me? Who will help me? Can be scary and exhausting. Then there are bigger challenges like not having a local driver's license or not knowing the road rules. It all adds up and starts to feel overwhelming. People don't often talk about how stressful the first few months can be. Leaving behind your family, friends, and all the things that you are used to can make you feel lonely and out of place. The gap between the excitement of moving and the reality of settling in is bigger than you think. But understanding this now will help you get ready. I'm not here to scare you. I just want to help you prepare and give you tips to handle the challenges ahead. Here is a tip, and this is exactly what we did. We stepped out to build a support network, attend community events, meetups, or join social clubs based on your interest. Wondering where to find them? Look for Facebook groups and join them. The local council website will have the information on the events, etc. The local public library organizes events for all communities. Check that and get yourself enrolled. Join Facebook and community groups to reach out for help. You'll be amazed how many people step up to help as they have been through those similar challenges themselves. Let's talk on cultural adjustment. Let me tell you a story about my friend Mai from China. Back home, she loved the lively public transport where people chatted and laughed, and even in busy crowd spaces. But when she moved to Melbourne, things felt very different. Her tram rides were very quiet, almost too quiet. People kept to themselves, staring at their phones or reading. Mai found the silence cold and missed the friendly conversation she was used to. She felt lonely even in a city full of people. But then something changed. She started a new job and slowly found her place. That's where we met, and now she's been there for 6 years. Moving to a new culture can feel hard at first. Everything feels so different, from the way people talk to the things they do. But don't worry, this struggle is normal and it gets better with time. For example, Australian slangs can be tricky. Phrases like cash out or arvo might leave you puzzled, even if you are great at English. Here's a tip: learn some Australian slang before you arrive. It can make life much easier. I've added a helpful link to the Aussie slang in the description down below. It's worth checking out. And if you have any questions, feel free to drop a comment below. I'll make sure to answer every question to provide tips or suggestions. This will help everyone who is watching the video. Moving on to number 3, making friends and building community. When we first moved to Melbourne, we felt very lonely. We were sharing a house with a married couple, which is common in Australia because it's cheaper. But we were used to living on our own, and sharing a house was harder than we thought. It was especially tough because we had to be careful with money during first months. After 3 weeks, we moved out when I found a job. The only friends we had were the couple whose childcare our daughter attended. Then something changed. Summer started going to school, and that's when things got better. We began meeting other parents through school activities. Soon we were invited to birthday parties and social events. Little by little, we built a small, supportive community. Now we have met some amazing people and families, and it has made all the difference. Here's the third important point, guys: making friends and building community. But making friends in a new place isn't always easy. It takes effort and courage to reach out. Here are a few tips to help you. Be brave and say hello. I know it can feel scary in those early months, but you'd be surprised how much people appreciate it when you make the first move. Many are happy to help. Join social clubs or groups on weekends. Check out walking clubs or hiking groups on Facebook. These are great ways to meet people who share your interest, and friendships can form quickly through these fun activities. Building a community takes time, but it's worth it. If I haven't scared you off yet, hit that like and subscribe button. It helps me keep creating more free informative videos like this. Your support means the world to me. Let's move on to number 4, job market realities. We arrived in Australia in 2014, and I didn't have a job for almost 2 months. We had some savings when we came, but after paying for rent and other expenses, we were left with just $650 in our bank account. I was scared because if I didn't find a job soon, we might have had to think about going back to India. But going back wasn't really an option. I applied for at least 100 to 110 jobs before I finally got one. The wait list for childcare made things even harder because my partner and I were job hunting. My partner got a job offer, but she had to turn it down because the childcare center didn't have availability on the same day she needed to work. Our daughter Summer was only 2 years old then. Australia has many opportunities for skilled workers, but the job market can be tough. Finding a job in your field isn't always easy. Here are some tips to make it easier. Do your research before moving. Look into the type of jobs and companies available in the area you plan to move. Consider a company transfer if possible. If you are in IT or any other skilled profession, see if your current company has an office in the city you are moving to. This can save you a lot of stress when settling in. Match your address to the city you are applying in. I made this mistake when I moved to Adelaide. It's a smaller city with fewer job opportunities, so I applied for jobs in Melbourne, but employers rejected my resume because it showed Adelaide address. My friend Deepak Walia helped me a lot during this time. He told me to use his Melbourne address on my resume and even offered to host me if I needed to travel for an interview. I can't thank him enough for that support. Be ready to start at a lower level. This is one of the hardest things to accept. Many skilled migrants have to take jobs below their qualification at first. For example, a friend of mine who was a head of a company in India could not get a job in his field for a whole year after moving here. He had to take a labor job to support his family, while his wife, who worked in IT, managed to get a job because of her specialized skills. Another friend, Amara, had an IT degree and great experience from India. But when she started applying for jobs in Australia, she realized that many employers wanted local experience and didn't value her overseas qualification. She had to take short courses and start with lower level job because she finally found a position in her field. It wasn't easy for her, but her hard work paid off. The journey can be tough, but with patience, planning and support system, you can overcome these challenges and find your place in Australian job market. And here is one more story of a known person. Sophia, a nurse from the Philippines, was excited about starting a new life in Australia. She had heard that nurses were in high demand and thought she would find a job quickly. But when she arrived, she learned she couldn't start working as a nurse right away. She needed to complete a registration process, which included extra exams and certification. The process was tough and took a lot of time, but Sophia didn't give up. While waiting, she worked as a carer to support herself. It helped her financially, but she often felt frustrated and even wondered if moving to Australia was the right decision. After a lot of hard work, Sophia finally got her registration and started working as a nurse. Professional requirements can be very different between countries, and it's important to prepare for these challenges. Moving on to number 5, cost of living and education. There is a crucial tip at the end of this section. Don't delay this. This is crucial for easing financial pressure, especially in the beginning. You will thank me for this. Cost of living and education can catch you off guard. Australia is known for its high cost of living and education. While salaries are decent, the initial expenses can be daunting. Some practical tips I can suggest: do this first as soon as your bank account application process is complete. Explore government support. Australia offers various financial aids and family benefits for residents, including those for education and childcare. Make sure you check eligibility for any government support programs that could ease your financial burden. Research and budget early. Before moving, dive deep into researching the cost of living in your specific city or state. The expenses in Sydney or Melbourne are drastically different from smaller towns. Create a realistic budget and include hidden costs like utility bills, transportation, and healthcare. Let me give you some numbers. Okay, to begin with, let's talk housing and renting. The cost of renting varies significantly depending on the city and location. For example, in Sydney and Melbourne, renting a one-bedroom apartment in the city center can cost you between $1,800 to $2,800 per month, while the same outside the city center might range between $1,400 to $2,200. Sharing can save you money in those initial days, but everyone is different. Now let's talk about utilities: electricity, heating, cooling, water, garbage, etc. These monthly utilities for a standard apartment typically range from $150 to $300. Internet costs can range from $60 to $100 per month depending upon the speed and the provider. The cost of groceries for a single person can range from $350 to $600 per month depending on dietary preferences and shopping habits. Public transport: a monthly public transport pass can cost between $120 to $220 pre-COVID depending upon the city and the zones traveled. Way lower now as work from home has become a norm, but it depends on the type of work you do. Owning a car: cost includes fuel around $1.60 to $2 per liter, insurance, registration and maintenance, which can add up to several $150 to $250 per month. Being without a car for 6 months was really tough. I remember rushing to catch the bus after our train ran late, only to miss it and stand in cold for another 20 minutes. Those cold, windy Melbourne nights felt endless. We were lucky our house was close to the mall, so we used summer stroller to haul groceries home. It wasn't easy, but we got through it. Now let's talk public versus private schools. For parents who are migrating with kids, here is a bit of information of school system. Public schools are free for Australian citizens and permanent residents. However, there may be some cost for uniform, books, and extracurricular activities. Public schools are government funded and generally follow a standardized curriculum. Private school fee can range from $5,000 to $35,000 or more per year depending on the school's reputation, location, and facilities. Private schools often offer specialized programs and smaller class sizes. Healthcare and Centrelink. While the country has a public healthcare system called Medicare for residents and citizens, it does not cover everything. Out-of-pocket costs can sneak up on you unless you have a private health insurance, which can range from $100 to $300 per month depending upon your coverage. I remember how overwhelmed we were with medical costs at first, but one of the smartest things that we did was immediately registered for Centrelink and Medicare benefits. The relief was felt when we started receiving $1,200 every fortnight from Centrelink. It truly saved us in those early days when every dollar counted. Some tips here: don't delay this process. This is crucial for easing financial pressure, especially in the beginning. As soon as you arrive, make it a priority to sign up for Medicare and Centrelink benefits. But there is one more thing you absolutely need as soon as you arrive. That is ambulance cover. God forbid something happens and you don't have it, it can be extremely costly. I made sure to get ambulance cover as soon as I secured a job. Back then I paid $85 per year for our family of 3 with Ambulance Victoria, and now it's $106.73 for a family and $53.37 for an individual. If you need more information, just check out the link in the description below to visit the website. Fitting into a new culture, struggling with the language differences, and learning how everything worked made us feel lost. This will likely happen to you as well, but looking back now, moving to Australia was one of the best choices we ever made. Some practical tips here: take it one step at a time. Don't expect everything to fall into place immediately. Focus on small wins like finding a job or securing a place to live and celebrate those. Build your support network early. Get involved with community groups, join Facebook groups, or attend local events to make connections. These relationships can provide valuable support and guidance, and at times can even land you a job. If you have any questions or need support, please don't hesitate to drop them in the comments. I will answer them, or you can follow me on Instagram and drop a direct message with your question and enjoy our real-time travel updates, discounts, offers, and much more.